Summer Road Trip, episode 9. I like the title of this, Road Warrior.
Mm-hmm.
And if you get a chance, read Acts chapter 9, verses 1 through 7. We see Saul on a road, the road to Damascus. And he already had a whole life. He was successful in some ways, a religious leader, respected person in the religious community. But was he living a life that really matters?
Yeah.
He really wasn't. But on the road to Damascus, as you read it, you'll see how that all changed.
Yep.
And that's what the outline is about today, how to live a life that really matters.
Yeah. You see in the story where he was living the life that mattered to him. But then when he encounters God on the road to Damascus, he realizes what life should really mean.
Yeah, absolutely. Yep. And these points are great.
Yep.
I like the first one. I must determine who will be my God. If I want to live a life that really matters, I got to ask myself, who am I worshiping? What am I worshiping? I may say I'm a Christian. I may go to church. But when it comes down to it, am I just worshiping maybe a political leader or a certain philosophy or maybe a preacher? Or am I determining that God will be my God, as Saul did, where Jesus appeared to him and said, I am Jesus, the one you're persecuting. And Saul decided, that's not a good idea.
Yep.
I need to worship you, and he became Paul.
Yeah, and I love that Joshua verse there. But he just clearly asked, but if you refuse to serve the Lord, then choose today who you will serve. And that's a question that we're honestly literally faced with every day, because we are bombarded with so many other thoughts, so many other if you will, gods from outside, and we have to make a daily choice that we're going to serve and live a life that glorifies the one true God.
Absolutely. And everything else, ultimately, worshiping anything but God is destructive.
Yeah.
It's not constructive. So I must determine who will be my God. The second point, I must commit everything to my God. Psalm 37:5 says it real clearly. Commit everything you do to the Lord. Trust him, and he will help you. And there again, I have to ask myself, God, I want you to guide me and lead me and take control of my life, but not my finances or not my dreams or not my relationships. Are we willing to commit everything to God?
Yeah. And let's not be naive and think that committing everything to God is something that's easy. But in Romans there, it quickly says, so here's what I want to do. It said, God helping you. So this may be a difficult thing, but if we allow God to help us, we can achieve that goal.
That's a great point. It leads us into point number 3, which if this isn't in the Bible, then I'm out. I can't even be a Christian. But Paul says, 2 Corinthians 5:14, Christ's love has moved me to such extremes. His love has the first and last word in everything we do.
Mm.
And so Jesus tells us to love our enemies,
Yep.
to love our friends, to follow after him. I got nothing on my own strength. I can't accomplish that.
Right.
But Paul reminds us it's Christ's love that motivates us and moves us.
Right. And once again, it's the daily battle. I mean, our reactions, the way we respond in situations, out of what our flesh wants, but instead trying to decipher and determine what the Holy Spirit and how he would want us to react and respond. And it's out of love, letting love be the first motivation.
So good. So good. On the outline, I must finish well for the glory of God. And yeah, it's tempting to give up.
Mm-hmm.
And we see it from time to time, even leaders we respect who literally just walk away from the faith.
Yep.
What a shame. We need to finish well. And again, we're in the writings of Paul from 1 Corinthians. Don't you realize that in a race, everyone runs, but only one person gets the prize? So run to win.
But the encouraging thing is there is a prize at the end,
Yeah.
and that's the eternal relationship with Christ forever.
Yeah. And that's worth running for.
Yeah.
And it's worth fighting for. Road warrior. We want to fight for a life that really matters and not settle for anything less. And maybe a practical thing you can do today is just identify what is something you're wrestling with, something you're fighting with now that's tempting you to settle for less than a life that really matters. And share that with somebody that you trust. Pray through that with somebody. Talk through that with somebody. Get past it and get on to principles like these 4 things. How to live a life that really matters.